Lily avoided her own reflection in her office's smudged bathroom mirror. No amount of artful eyeliner or strategic concealer or shimmery highlighter could impart the illusion of vivacity after a 10-hour workday. Certainly not in the green-tinged fluorescent lighting. There was no hairdresser on hand to coax her dark strands into some semblance of elegance. There was no stylist or date to help zip up the back of her dress. All Lily's hopes for a successful transition from sad cubicle dweller to black tie event attendee were pinned on the delicate fabric of her borrowed gown. And its tiny zipper pull refused to budge. Lily contorted her arms into a broken pretzel and tugged at the pull as her face reddened with frustration. In 40 minutes, theoretically at least, Lily would head to an iteration of the twice-annual An Unforgettable Evening gala in support of Alzheimer's disease research. The gala's slugline was extremely questionable, but the occasion was otherwise par for the course of Lily's professional social life. A magazine-style writer with a partial society beat, she attended the odd cocktail party or dinner or jewelry luncheon from the sprawl of events that keep Tony calendars full across the spring and fall seasons in New York. And then she wrote about these outings the following morning so that the people who had gone to them could read about them, because no one else read these stories beyond the people who had been at the parties and relived their experiences through the lens of cultural validation. It was an IRL version of two-factor authentication. First, one lived the thing, then one made sure it had been real and worthy by consuming someone else's narration of it. Check, check. A person's authenticity was intact. In preparation for the ball, Lily wore a strapless floral dress whose voluminous skirt ended at her ankles. The designer look was a sample that Lily had eyed a few months ago as it swished down a runway in an industrial warehouse in the Brooklyn Navy Yard. What was a gown on Lily had been a cocktail dress on the model who had worn this exact sample in the show. A person paid to write about society events could not afford the high-end wardrobe the lifestyle demanded. A decade of squeezing herself into borrowed outfits a size or more too small had trained Lily's eyes to reconfigure designer collections to her non-mannequin proportions. She would sit in the fifth row of a fashion show and mentally eliminate looks worn by models with particularly tiny rib cages or waists. Anything that hit a model below her knees was a no-go for Lily, who was many inches shy of 5'11". Fabrics with stretch were ideal, but rare. And a long line of wedding gown buttons was an instant deal-breaker. No 21st century woman, save for a member of royalty, had the time or handmaids such useless garment closures required. These borrowed designer dresses were the closest approximations of a Cinderella fantasy that Lily had achieved in the many years of her party-going employment. Fairy godmothers, though, knew how to tailor their looks before directing their future princesses to don them. Still, the opportunity to wear for a few hours an exquisite item of fashion, however wrongly sized, had not lost its allure. Not entirely. Real-life fairy tales did not manifest without a certain amount of sacrifice. The zipper's boxy carriage would not move further along its metal tracks. Lily dragged it down to its place of inception, near her sacrum, and restarted its upward journey.